Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update, especially on the 7-day forecast. We're going to be going down to Sarasota County in just a little bit, and we're going to point you in that direction because that is the area where obviously Milton came ashore last night, 8:30 in the Siesta Key area, a high Category 3 at that point as it came through with wind gusts in certain areas of over 100 miles per hour. That is what caused such significant damage to Tropicana Field, the roof there. All of you have seen it by now probably at this point. If you lost power, you probably still saw it on your phone, or people have probably passed it along to you, or you saw it on the news. So, but again, further south where the heaviest winds were down in that Venice area as well.
That's where we find Rob Hackford right now. Rob, update us on what's going on there.
Yeah, guys, down in downtown Sarasota right now, making our way actually north this morning from Venice, where we had no cell service, no power for much of the morning. So if folks are trying to reach family down in that area, just know that that is the situation. We had to drive up to Sarasota to just get cell service, get any sort of connection with our team back at the station, but also with our family members elsewhere. So driving through downtown Sarasota now, we've got lots of downed trees. The buildings, for the most part, appear fairly in good shape, except for the one behind me here, Sarasota Private Trust Company. The windows on it, many of them blown out on this one side, perhaps from debris that was blown into them from the strong winds in Hurricane Milton. So this is the most significant damage that we've seen all morning, making our way up from Venice, as I mentioned, heading north. So quite a bit of damage here on this building. The street around it is all blocked off. This is Pineapple Avenue here in downtown Sarasota. Quite a few people have been coming by to look at the damage, of course, and get a sense of what things are at this morning, even on the ground. So one of the reasons I can predict that, or would think that this is closed off, is this is a chunk of glass from the actual building itself. It fell off. They're scattered all around the ground here, kind of amidst the other debris from the trees that are also down along this area. So quite a bit of damage. Again, as I was saying, the most significant damage that we've seen after heading up from Venice and that area to downtown Sarasota. We're going to keep our eyes on this throughout the rest of the day and take a peek around, talk with folks as well in downtown Sarasota to get a better sense. We just got here, and this just really stuck out to us and surprised us quite a bit. The reporting in downtown Sarasota, Rob Hackford, 10 Tampa Bay, guys.
Yeah, Rob, and you see all that glass damage. A lot of times that glass damage, Rob, is actually from the pressure as that storm comes ashore and those windows just start popping all over the place. And thank goodness you were nowhere near that, because that glass just shatters.
Glass,
it just goes all over the place. So you can see as far, you're what, a good 50 yards down the road from that, and you're still picking up shards of glass.
Yeah, it really sprayed everywhere. I mean, even beyond Pineapple Avenue here, we're seeing chunks of glass on the ground as well. So yeah, certainly with landfall right about around here, Siesta Key area, the winds were strong enough, knowing that pressure, Tidbit, appreciate that detail as well. It did a number to this building here, the Sarasota Private Trust Company.
Yeah, it was 120-mile-per-hour winds when it made landfall last night. And if it gives you any perspective there, too, which it certainly does, the danger of that with the glass shards. Rob, the storm brought winds in the St. Pete area, Albert Whitten Airport, to more than 100 miles per hour. And that's where you saw that crane fall. That's where you saw the roof of the Trop rip right off. So the power of this storm so evident up and down our coast right now.
Yeah, Rob, here's an interesting question for you. I think this is your first hurricane. Is that correct?
Yeah, first hurricane other than getting clipped by Cindy while actually down as a Boy Scout at Sea Base in the Florida Keys. Yeah. This is a lot different in that case, so we fared pretty well in Venice. But
yeah, we're borrowing you from Buffalo.
In terms of being on the ground and seeing the damage.
Yeah, you're seeing the big snowstorms up in Buffalo. Yeah,
glad to be here, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Just wondering what your take was, kind of being in the middle of this and kind of seeing this firsthand and up close.
Yeah, I think we were pretty fortunate down in Venice, despite the power outage and the lack of cell service. The damage on the island down there was pretty good. We had howling winds all night. The hotel we were staying at was pretty good, though. But just the scale and the spread of a storm like this has been incredibly impressive. And the impacts, obviously, devastating to so many folks. But just being able to talk with folks who are a little relieved in some places, but also devastated in others. It really It keeps you going, but it's a tough story to report on sometimes. But rewarding nonetheless. I appreciate you guys having me down here.
No, well, we appreciate you being down here with us, Rob Hackford in Sarasota County for us throughout the storm and kind of giving us a firsthand view of everything going on down there. Rob, thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate
Thank you guys.
Let's get to some video here too. I remember Pasco County, you will remember as well, during Helene, we had those swift water rescues ongoing in the overnight hours there. You and I talked with the sheriff there, Chris Nacco, overnight. We actually, I think, kind of woke him up out of bed.
Unfortunately, I did.
Hey, can you let us know the latest information there? And he graciously updated us with Helene, but we're seeing more of that in the area with this storm today. Milton, taking a look at the video and photos here too. The National Guard participating in ongoing water rescues because of flooding from the Anclote River in the area of Mitchell Boulevard and Little Road. Efforts are ongoing. Approximately 22 people have been rescued from the rising water there so far. Yeah, they had to do a similar rescues there in Newport Richey during Helene as well. This is video from HCSO, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, as they were doing, they were on Morris Bridge Road there south of Cross Creek. They were urging residents to use extreme caution in that area and just telling them, stay safe as they continue to see impacts from this. But as you can see, some flooding there in that Morris Bridge Road area. They saw flooding after Helene as well. So that area, once again, dealing with damage, water damage more than anything else. Yeah, we are in our storm studio here, our hurricane studio, because we were in an evacuation zone. Our studio is off Gandy Boulevard, so we're not far from this right now. Yeah, Mid-Florida. The Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater at the Florida Fairgrounds. Crew shooting this video to show the visible damage to the roof there. You can see large sections. They've collapsed to the seating below. Obviously, some large acts are right there. This is right across from the Hard Rock, which also was out of power last night. Saw some flooding itself. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's where, we're in our hurricane studio, and we're literally like half a block away from the Hard Rock. I stayed there last night. We lost power right around 10:30. I was on the second floor. My room started to flood from above. So, we love the Hard Rock. Something happened, not sure what, but there was damage to rooms over there as well. And that was a building that you think would have, withstood a Category 6 if there was such a thing as a hurricane. But again, Mother Nature had other plans. Well, it reminds me so much of the Trop, the roof of the Trop right now. Now looking at that, just tattered. Looks like just sheets laid out there, but I imagine it's something very similar to the Trop, that fiberglass material. Yeah, that's what that is over at the Trop. It's a translucent Teflon coated fiberglass that they use over there at the Trop. It looks pretty similar, as a matter of fact, there at the amphitheater. If you've ever been out there, you know that you can get, great lawn seats out there, and then, you can do the covered as well to kind of stay out on a rainy night. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to have some stuff to take care of there. This is a popular time of year, too, for them to have concerts out there because the weather starts to cool off a little bit like we're seeing today. So this right here, a live look for you. I-275, traffic moving smoothly on both sides, but as you can see too, pretty light right now. I know one of the conversations a lot of people worried about, speaking of where we are, off Hillsborough Avenue, there's a Wawa across the way, and meteorologist Amanda Pappas was telling us earlier that she saw people literally fighting over gas. And guys, I mean, for lack of a better term, pack your patience right now. We're all going through a tough time, and you don't want to escalate it, but we've seen, I've seen this before in the past. We've seen it before in the past with, gas shortages. There's plenty of gas to go around. A lot of times folks are having fights over who was next in line. Right. That's generally where these disagreements happen. So just everybody stay patient. You're going to get your gas. It's okay. There's going to be plenty there for you. You're not going to be the car that misses out. Speaking of Hillsborough Avenue and Dale Mabry, right in that area, early this morning flooded out. You couldn't get by. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office putting out some video from that earlier as well, showing significant flooding on Hillsborough Avenue. So we're not sure yet if that water has receded a little bit in that area. I'm assuming it has, but we'll try to get you that information as well. We're having our own little backup issues. Our producer's trying to tell us where we're going next, and it's Jenny Dean. Okay, let's get to our Jenny Dean, who has been in the Hillsborough County area. Jenny, you were at a Great American Assisted Living Facility earlier. You're still in Tampa?
Yeah, we were trying to get to the facility. You just can't. There's too much water. I'm standing right in the middle of Fowler Avenue right now in the university area. You can see there's a school bus right there, probably being brought in to help the about 135 assisted living residents that they had to come and get. Now I'm going to have Sasan kind of pan it. First of all, you can see how deep the water is just going through the alley, and then the assisted living facility is back behind this building here. They have their high water rescue vehicles in action. There's one coming down the road now. And it's hard to see, but even looking further past the high rescue vehicle that's coming down the road, there's a car that is probably all the way up to almost the roof. I mean, maybe a foot from the roof of a vehicle. But Sasan's showing you now the high water rescue vehicles that have been going back to the assisted living facility to be able to pick up those residents, get them to higher ground, and it appears now they're going to try to bring in this school bus so they can get them out of there. And some of the residents, when they came out here at 7 o'clock this morning, they found that they were, some of them, in waist-deep water, many of them wheelchair-bound, and so that's why they brought in all of the rescue teams to get in here, because this water is seriously deep. And I have to tell you guys, just getting here was an adventure. I mean, there are flooded streets all through this area. You'll try to turn down one street, and next thing you know, there's like thigh-deep, knee-deep water. We can't drive through it. We have to turn around. So, you know, I think people may see certain areas that are starting to look better, and they're not realizing how many people are still dealing with so much water, no power, emergency issues. So this is still a very serious situation, and likely what Hillsborough County is just asking people stay off the roads. It's complicating matters when everybody has to keep turning around and getting out of the way, and at stop signals they're not able to, you know, navigate the street lights that are out because people are just kind of driving, and so it's a bit chaotic at times. When we were in Brandon, there was a lot of traffic out there, people wanting to know what's happening. So, yeah, it appears they've been wrapping this up. They came out here about 7 o'clock this morning. We have not gotten an update yet, but we are certainly hoping that all of the residents here are safe. I'm going to step over because it looks like we've got more sheriff's crews coming in here. So I'm going to send it back to you guys so we can kind of let them get over here and do their work.
Hey, Jenny, can I ask you one quick question, just in perspective of where you are on Fowler Avenue?
Yeah, let's
go ahead.
Step
just
out
get
of the
to
way
safety.
here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to get out of the way of the sheriff's vehicles that are trying to get over here.
Absolutely.
Okay, where am I? So
I was
17th
going to say,
Street.
where's USF compared to where you're standing?
I mean, probably a few miles. We're kind of closer to University Area Mall, if you know where that is.
Okay, yep, that's what I was asking.
North 22nd Street.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of that area of Fowler, North 22nd Street, and the assisted living facility is on North 17th Street. Right. And so, I mean, but it's like, look at, just let me have Sasan show you down, like you can see the sign, North 22nd Street. You can see cars stranded. That's how deep this water is on Fowler. Wow. And it just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So thankfully they got those, the sheriff was saying yesterday, they got 4 new these special incident high water vehicles in just before this storm. So very significant in being able to help in situations just like this. So I'm sure people very grateful at this time that they are able to get this kind of help, and it certainly came right in the nick of time. I think they said they got them delivered like this week. Yeah. The 4 new vehicles. So it's
high water
definitely come in handy.
Definitely in handy right now. I know some were being staged over at Ray J earlier this morning.
That's right. Too. And they headed out early this morning. You know, Jenny, it's weird. You know, if you ever drive on Fowler Avenue anywhere in that area where you're seeing the flooding, I mean, I can't ever remember seeing a dip in the road like that would cause flooding like that.
It's pretty crazy to look down the street and see how deep this water is, and it just got inundated. And you know, we were getting those alerts last night about Morris Bridge Road and all of that. It kind of all a similar area, but there's a ton of water out here, guys, and people are there's gonna be more flooding and more cars, and it wasn't from the storm surge, and that's, I think, why everybody's so shocked. These are areas that you wouldn't think would flood.
Yeah.
And instead, now they're dealing with high water rescues.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's why this is definitely a day of assessment for those crews out there. While we're talking about the bridge crews, they're assessing the damage to causeways and making sure that it is all safe. Because when you've got water like that, those roads underneath, you just don't know how damaged they are. You want to make sure that they have time to not only dry out, but then assess the roadways before people are back out on them. And you've made the comment before about manholes that I hadn't even really thought about before, but that water can push the manholes up and become very dangerous for people that are wading through, trying to walk from one side to the other. We keep saying it today, guys, stay out of the flood waters if you can. Really dangerous situation.
When I was in Brandon earlier today on Valrico Road, and a woman had driven, she's like, I could see the road, and then suddenly I couldn't. And next thing she knows, she could barely, she said, thank God I had my window open because I don't think I would have been able to open my car door. And I got out, and she said I had to swim to get out of the water, to get to higher ground while she's screaming for help. It's just been, I think, people are shocked. People that know this area, people who've lived here for years, think, oh, it's Fowler. I can just drive down Fowler. I'm sure it's not that deep.
Yep.
And
You know, Jenny, we've heard that. We've heard that.
Cars now.
Yeah, Jenny, we've heard that so much after Helene, now after Milton. You know, this area has never flooded before.
Hasn't happened in
more than 100 years. So we keep
we
hearing
weren't
that.
alive.
Yeah.
You at home, not in our lifetimes.
Yeah. Nobody can spread the word to you that that area does flood from time to time. So. All right, Jenny Dean reporting live for us there along Fowler.
We'll let you wrap up, Jenny, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Jenny. We're going to check back with you in just a little bit. Thank you so much for great reporting. I mean, Jenny's been bouncing all over the place today.
She always is. She does a great job with these storms. She's a busy girl, but really gives us a great perspective.
Absolutely.
She's been covering all Hillsborough County for us and doing an incredible job.
Speaking of perspectives, we've gotten multiple perspectives of
aerial perspectives at this point.
Yeah, of the most jaw-dropping video probably of the day and the night.
Wow, look at this.
And that is the Tropicana Field roof being blown off in the middle of the night. We've seen it from afar. We've seen it from the inside.
Wow.
Not sure if you've seen this drone footage, though, as it just goes over the trop. And, not to make a joke here, but it sounds like it looks like somebody toilet papered the trop.
It really does. No, it does.
Which is all that's left of
the
it.
trop at this point. And we've been talking about this. This is an incredible perspective for you. This all happening overnight with those high mile-per-hour winds, more than 100 mile-per-hour winds that we saw just 2 miles from the trop there at Albert Wooden Airport as this storm came through the area here. The good news is nobody was injured. This is usually a staging site for linemen, for first responders.
Right.
They had already been moved out of the area. Everybody was accounted for after this, so it makes it a little bit easier to show you this video. It could have been totally catastrophic, but this is unbelievable. You've never seen anything like this. How many storms has this area weathered? Never seeing something like this happen at the trop before.
Absolutely not. And when I woke up late last night and I saw this video, the first thing I thought, and like a lot of you thought, was, oh my goodness, all those first responders were staged in there. Are they okay? Everyone is accounted for. I do wonder, though, how they got them out in time, because it was almost like perfect timing. They were.
It's almost like flags flying right there.
Exactly.
You said, like, T-shirts.
Boy,
line hangers. What am I trying to say? The line.
Yeah, like when
Old
you're
school?
like your clothesline when you're drying your clothes outside.
You don't do that often.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So a lot of folks are going to be doing that.
I was just going to say now that we don't have power, maybe joke's on me later on this afternoon.
That's how you're going to be doing your clothes old school style right there.
Man, oh man.
Going further south, back to Bradenton again, because that's where we're seeing a lot of damage.
Let's take a look this morning. Oh my goodness, yeah, this down in Bradenton. Our Jen Titus has been covering that area for us too, as long with Nick Valtura, and you can see the remnants of a boat there, just tattered and basically broken in half. We saw incredible storm surge in the area there, not only with this storm, but with Helene. These boats tossed. This all looks eerily reminiscent of Helene, which moved through the area just 2 weeks ago at this point. So no time to really clean up and prepare for this. And that's part of this equation too, is really the aftermath. What's what? From what storm is this damage? Because we didn't have time to clean it all up. There was so much debris left over, and that was part of what we were concerned about heading into Milton last night, is that around the clock, Governor DeSantis had dump trucks picking up all the debris that they could, but it was a race against the clock, a race against the weather. That inclement weather moved in through the area earlier yesterday than even I thought it would.
Yep.
The bridges were closed
Yeah.
by 1 o'clock yesterday.
And that was a smart move because all of a sudden, Milton just picked up steam, even though the shear was making it less of an intense storm. It was picking up steam, and then all of a sudden it came on shore a lot sooner than we kind of expected earlier in the day. So certainly good that everyone got out in time. And we're not doing stories at this point like we were after Helene, talking about death after death after death.
Yeah, although we did see some
We
lives
have,
lost with
yeah,
this.
we did. We have 2 in St. Pete that are attributed to the hurricane, and then we had 4 over on the other side of the state because of tornadoes.
Yeah. But again, this is a day of assessment, so we're going to learn more as the day unfolds. We've got reporters across.
All
Okay,
right.
we've got on the line. Sorry, we're trying to hear our producer here. Sheriff Chris Nacco.
Oh, okay. Is Chris Nacco? All right. Hey, Sheriff Chris Nacco, Jameson Euler with Caitlin Lockerbie here at 10 Tampa Bay. We got you on the phone.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just wanted, we're calling in. We're doing search and rescue right now in Thousand Oaks, which is in the Trinity neighborhood. Back in 2012, we had massive flooding, and it's repeating itself again in the same neighborhood. So we're with Pasco Fire Rescue, National Guard, State Guard. We're going in here. We pulled out about 30 so far plus with some animals, too, a lot of dogs. And so we're rescuing them, taking them out, getting them to highland. And the big question they're all asking us, well, how long is this going to last? And they don't have power. They don't have running water. So I think as the day goes on, we're going to continue to pull people out. But it's also a humanitarian effort where we're going to be going in there when we get the water supplies here to bring off pallets of water to drop them off to people that want to stay behind.
Now, Sheriff Nacco, how high is the water there in the area right now as you guys are doing this rescue? How high did it come up for people?
So I'm 6'3", and the water at some places is slightly above my waist.
Wow.
And some of it edges and flows as it comes in. But I can tell you, if you have a visual map, you can look at Little Road. There's a place called Generations Church just north of Generations. There's a big field. That water is flowing down. It's coming from up north. We don't think that is going to crest, from our understanding from the meteorologists and NOAA, that is not going to crest until tomorrow around noon, which Elfers, this water flows into Elfers. So we're expecting we're going to be out here for a while. We're hoping everybody who wants to leave will leave now. And we tell them, look, we'll be here, but the longer this goes on, the more people we may need to go help and rescue.
Yeah, Sheriff Nacco, and this is a lot of times why you tell everybody to get out of their zones, the zones that you told everyone to.
So Helene, I will tell you, I think it was at nighttime what made it a little bit more dangerous. That water was, there are strong currents here now in some of the areas, but nowhere near as strong as they were in Helene. And plus with Helene, we were in there in the middle of the night, so it made it much different. So it's one of those things. I think right now, as I said, the uncertainty is how high this water comes, how long this lasts. With Helene, it was more of a rush to get in there as quickly as you can because we've never seen anything like that before. Unfortunately, with history, we've seen this back in 2012. So the only difference is the amount of rain that came in last night with Milton and how that affects us down here throughout the Trinity area.
Yeah, and as you guys work to get them out, Sheriff Nacco, you said 30-plus people now rescued with their pets. What are their conditions? They're all doing okay? I'm sure very, very shaken up at this point. That's a scary situation to be in, but are they all okay?
Yeah, everybody's doing well, good spirits, very appreciative of the Sheriff's Office and all the fire rescue and everybody who's out here helping them. Go Pasco's out here right now that if they need to be transported to River Ridge High School, they will. We're also assisting families. There are some families that are coming into the area that, law enforcement, we're holding a perimeter to keep this area clear, but the families are there that we're able to take their loved ones to them to get them out. The one issue, we're dealing with, I feel horrible for these people because they have the uncertainty. They're not sure when they're going to come out, but I'll tell you, there's people in here with strong faith. We were out there talking to them, saying, hey, this is all in God's hands, and, like anything else, it always could be way worse. And right now, we're blessed that, people are okay, they're safe. They're just trying to make that tough decision. Should they go? How long is it going to be? But at the same time, as the Sheriff's Office, Fire Rescue, we're all here trying to give them that option and make sure they're going to be okay.
Yeah, better safe than sorry for sure. I remember, Sheriff, you said with Helene that you guys were getting inundated with calls about welfare checks and making sure that people were okay, especially since we've seen so many power outages with Milton. I know a lot of people are struggling with their cell service right now. Even we here at the studio have struggled with some of our live shots today. We use our DeGiro, which relies on cell service. And so right now it's harder to get in communication with some of your loved ones to check in, make sure that you're okay. There's a little bit of distance sometimes in getting that fast response that people are anxiously awaiting. So again, I wanted to give you the opportunity. Is that a problem right now? And what should people do to make sure that it's not on you to spread the word?
Yeah, so, we do have some of those welfare checks. I saw last night, it was probably about 1:30 about 1:30 in the morning. We were holding a lot of welfare checks. It was people internationally and here, state of Florida and out of the different states, people calling in, checking for their loved ones. Right now, we have 25 that we have on the board that we're going in for. But I agree with you. Cell phone service is a little spotty. We're telling these people here, hey, just tell your loved ones what's going on. Tell them you're okay. If you need to be rescued, everybody's right here. We can pull them out. But I agree. That's a great point. It's just keep telling people, look, the more you can just keep in touch with your loved ones, tell them you're okay. But I get it. In the past several years, we have a lot of new people to the state of Florida. We have a lot of people that their loved ones have just moved to Florida. These hurricanes are something that to them is very scary, which it is for all of us, but at the same time, for them, it's even more so. They've never been through it. So the more the family can keep them at ease, tell them what's going on, the less likely they're going to keep filling up the dispatch lines, and the better it is for us to be able to respond to calls. And I'll tell you, last night, we still had domestics going on. We still had burglary. We still had other crimes that deputies were trying to get to. Weather was holding us back a lot of time, but the other things that are going on in this county does not stop, and that's why we're asking for resources to come into Pasco to assist us, because our deputies have been impacted by the storm, and it's been a long 24 hours, and we're going to keep pushing forward.
Yep, absolutely. And Sheriff, I'll give you the last word here because, one of the things is, you have areas throughout Pasco County dealing with a multitude of issues. So what is the final word that you want to get out there today as everybody's kind of, waking up, walking outside and assessing their own homes?
So the one thing is, if you woke up today, you're able to see the sun right now, thank God Almighty that God gave you another day. Make the best out of it. Keep pushing forward. Keep a positive spirit. Across the county, we have great partners, whether it be fire rescue, the state guard, state law enforcement, the National Guard. We're going to be out there on the east side of the county where there's a lot of trees down and a lot of issues. We're out there cleaning that up. We're going to be here. We're never leaving. We're side by side. Not saying we fight as one. That's who we are. We are one in this community in Tampa Bay. We'll get through this. God bless all our other agencies. We're all in this together.
All right. Sheriff Chris Nacco from Pasco County joining us on the phone. Chris, thank you so much for your time. We know you're busy there today. We certainly appreciate you coming on 10 Tampa Bay and kind of spreading the word this morning to the folks who are still out there. And I'll tell you, when you watch Sheriff Nacco, you see Sheriff Chronister, they're out there in the middle of the night in these floodwaters helping their deputies because they realize their deputies have been impacted by all of this stuff. They've, they know that, every man needs to be out there. Every man and woman needs to be out there helping out as their communities are going through it. And he mentioned so many people are moving to Florida. So many people are moving to Pasco County.
Yeah,
Pasco County is just
popular.
exploding in growth.